Take a breath. You're here. This is the Her Perspective, a space for real conversation, honest reflection, and living in real time. Lately, I realized something about myself. For a long time, I thought becoming meant fixing everything that was wrong with me, becoming more confident, more disciplined, more healed, more ready. I thought the goal was to become someone different. But over these last few months, I think God has been teaching me something else. Maybe becoming isn't about becoming someone different. Maybe it's about finally learning how to become yourself with intention. Welcome to the Her Perspective, a podcast for people navigating life, growth, and becoming in real time. I'm your host, Victoria, and welcome to season 4, Becoming with Intentions. This is the season where I stop questioning who I am and start building from who I am. Not from pressure, not from performance, not by judging who I used to be, but from a softer, healer, more honest place. Because becoming is a journey. It's not a race. It's not a competition with other people. And it's not even a competition with the version of myself we thought we were supposed to be by now. This season, I'm learning what it means to be soft enough to feel and bold enough to become. For this first episode, I wanted to talk about a phrase that has been sitting with me: the soft, bold visionary. When I first heard it, I thought it sounded beautiful, but the longer I sat with it, the more I realized it was describing the person I've been learning to become. Because most of my life, I thought softness and strength couldn't coexist in the same person. I believed if I was soft, I wasn't strong enough. If I felt depth, I was too emotional. If I needed time to process, I was behind. If I was gentle, people they wouldn't take me seriously. So, without realizing it, I spent a lot of my time trying to become harder to hurt, harder to disappoint, harder to shape. Because somewhere along the way, I was confusing surviving with becoming. But life has been teaching me something totally different. I've realized that some of my greatest growth didn't happen because I became harder. It happened because I finally felt safe enough to stay soft, safe enough to still tell the truth, safe enough to admit when I'm scared, safe enough to receive help, safe enough to stop pretending I had everything figured out. And honestly, that's new for me. One of my prayers lately has simply been, God, help me to become safer with the version of myself, not just safe with other people, but safe for me. A woman who doesn't abandon herself when life gets difficult. A woman who doesn't panic every time something feels uncertain. A woman who can trust what you've been doing in her life while she's still becoming. Because I'm learning softness is not a weakness, and boldness doesn't have to be loud. I can be soft and still have standards. I can be gentle and still have boundaries. I can be emotional and still be wise. I can be healing and still be called. I can be growing and still be worthy right now. That is what soft bold means to me. It means I don't have to become harder to become stronger. I don't have to perform confidence to be brave. I don't have to abandon my heart to be taken seriously. And maybe the biggest lesson is I don't have to perform my growth anymore. That sentence has been sitting with me because I realized sometimes I wasn't just growing, sometimes I was performing growth, trying to sound healed, trying to look confident, trying to make it seem like I had all the answers. But healing doesn't always look polished. Sometimes healing does look like crying. Sometimes it looks like asking for grace. Sometimes it looks like changing your mind. Sometimes it looks like receiving help instead of carrying everything alone. Sometimes it looks like admitting, I don't know. And that's growth too. I used to think I had to become a completely different version of myself to step into the life I wanted. More polished, more confident, more disciplined, more unbothered, more ready. But lately, I've been asking myself different questions. Am I becoming from love or am I becoming from pressure? Am I growing because I want to honor who God is shaping me into, or because I secretly believe who I am today isn't enough? That question stopped me because there's a difference between becoming healthier and rejecting yourself in the name of growth. There's a difference between wanting to be mature and criticizing every version of yourself that's still learning. I realized I've carried a lot of timelines, thinking I'll be further along by now, thinking life will look different by now, thinking I'll be already the woman I imagined years ago. But maybe becoming isn't late. Maybe becoming is happening exactly where I am. Maybe God isn't asking me to rush. Maybe He's asking me to trust. And maybe that's where you are too. Maybe you've been trying to become stronger, but you're becoming harder instead. Maybe you've been trying to become more confident, but you're hiding the part of yourself that still feels nervous. Maybe you've been trying to heal, but you've been judging yourself every time an old wound reminds you that it's still there. If that is you, I want you to know there's room here. There's room for your honesty. There's room for your questions. There's room for your growth. There's room for the version of you that's still learning to feel safe in who you're becoming. You don't have to compete with anyone, not even the version of yourself that you thought you'll be by now. You're always allowed to grow at a place that honors your healing. You're allowed to become without shame in who you used to be. You're allowed to be soft and still be serious about your life. You're allowed to be bold and still be gentle with yourself. So this season, I'm choosing differently. I'm choosing honesty over performance, grace over self judgment, intentions over pressure, presence over perfection. I'm choosing to stop rushing my becoming because becoming doesn't happen by accident. It happens through the quiet decisions we make every day: to trust, to forgive, to rest, to tell the truth, to keep showing up, even when no one's clapping. Because the soft, bold visionary isn't someone who has everything figured out. It's someone who's learning to move through life with tenderness and truth. with faith and wisdom, with courage and care, with vision and patience. So, as we begin this season, I want to leave you with a few questions. Really sit and think about it. Where have you been becoming from pressure instead of love? Where have you been judging a version of yourself that actually needed compassion? Where have you mistaken softness for weakness? And what would it look like to stop questioning who you are and start building from who you are? You don't have to answer all these questions today. This is a journey, and we're going to walk through it together gently, one intentional step at a time. So let this be your reminder. You don't have to become harder to become stronger. You don't have to be perfect to be purposeful. You don't have to rush to be worthy. You don't have to perform your growth. You are allowed to become from a softer, healthier, more honest place. Because this isn't the season where we're performing our growth. This is the season where we start living like the person we've been praying to become. Thank you for spending this moment with me. Until next time, keep becoming with intentions. Stay soft enough to feel. Stay bold enough to become. I'll talk to you soon.